Today I want to talk about 5-star Sonny Styles, who has decided to commit to the Ohio State University. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video nearly every single day. It's always college football related. I'm also the host of the #1 ranked show, which is on at midnight tonight for, recapping the day of college football, and on Tuesday nights immediately following the college football playoff rankings release. But I wanted to do this particular video right quick because Sonny Styles is that big a deal, okay? It's a 5-star player out of Pickerington Central in Ohio. Notre Dame was thought to be the leader for him, and that's a big deal because his brother Lorenzo is already playing wide receiver out there. But Ohio State swoops in, picks him up, and that means they have the 5th highest rated recruit in the state of Ohio's recruiting rankings history, committed to Ohio State. It's not a small thing. And he is not a small deal. Now, it's 2023, and I understand it's a long way off, but for Ohio State, who has not looked like a juggernaut on defense, to pick up a defensive recruit of this caliber in November, ahead of its game against Purdue, is tremendous, right? He is an Isaiah Simmons type of player. He is what I think of as a destroyer of worlds, which is to say that if you line him up at outside linebacker, he could also fall back into free safety and make your offense wrong, okay? The way that Brent Venables was able to use Isaiah Simmons all over the field as a rusher, as a middle linebacker, as a free safety, as a corner, as a slot corner, that's what you're able to do with a guy like Sonny Styles. And to be able to take away anybody's number one, to be able to have a guy that can come down and run stop, he's as versatile as any player in football can be. And by the time he's a true freshman, you might be looking at a Court Williams and a Sonny Styles and a CJ Hicks on the same defense. That's awesome, right? And knowing what Larry Johnson Sr. has been able to do in recruiting on that defensive line, you're going to be studly, right? We already know that. But you have a dude that could just as easily end up being a Ronnie Hickman type, where he comes down and makes tackles. You have a guy that could end up being a Taraji Mitchell guy who can lead your defense in the linebacking core. You also have a dude that you 100% trust to be your free safety over the top and take away their deepest, to keep the top on the defense. It's not a small thing. It's also really interesting for me because you get to keep your guy in state, but you also keep him away from Notre Dame, and other Big Ten teams now have to worry about you in the way that, say, the ACC had to worry about Notre Dame, but not really, because Notre Dame's in this entanglement with the ACC. It's an open marriage with the ACC. But I also thought that the timing of this couldn't be more helpful to Ohio State, who is very much trying to tell everybody we're one of the 4 best teams in the country, regardless of our loss to Oregon at home without Kayvon Thibodeau on the defense. I've been very loud about that. I will continue to be loud about that. But today is about Sonny Styles, who is a tremendously big deal. I also wanted to point just specifically to his 247 comparison, in that, man, this dude's a monster. Like, the way that it reads is, I'm not going to read it word for word. I've done that in the past. I'm just not going to do that right now. The way that it reads, though, is the kind of rangy tackler that you would want on your defense, right? 210 pounds, could blow up to 235, 240 by the time he's done. He's got really good height. He's got really good length. It's about whether or not he's going to overdevelop into an outside linebacker or continue to keep that slender, long frame that allows him to be a secondary player. But knowing that you have a sure tackler with a sure set of hands, it's not a small thing in big-time college football. This is why he's such a big deal, and quite honestly, why I'm here talking about it in the middle of halftime, Oklahoma-Baylor, where your boy is absolutely sweating. Now, 2023 rankings are still ongoing, and they're building, but Oklahoma's sitting there at #1 with 4 5-stars in their 2023 class, led by Malachi Nelson, one of 3 players, including Sonny Styles, that I really, really love in that class, the other being Arch Manning, of course. And Ohio State has an opportunity to finish up there, along with Notre Dame, who's doing very well on the 2022 and 2023 recruiting fronts. And, of course, Georgia is going to be there. Penn State is interesting in that there's an opening at USC that James Franklin has been talked about for. There's an opening at LSU where we'll see what happens there. I know that there are folks that are keen on Mel Tucker. I don't think that he's going to go anywhere. I don't see that happening. I do think that Ryan Day is one of like 5 dudes in football right now that nobody could move. Like Nick Saban's the other. Dabo Swinney's the other. I think Lincoln Riley's one, despite what the LSU stands seem to think. And we could keep, I guess, Kirby Smart at Georgia. I'd written this down at one other point. Trying to think, who else did I have? It'll come to me. Oh, Jim Harbaugh at Michigan, right? Harbaugh leaves, it ain't going to be for another college football job. It's going to be for an NFL job. But those guys, I think, aren't going anywhere. As Ohio State gets a really good Purdue team today, at least with a passing attack that I think can challenge them with David Bell on the outside, one of the best wide receivers in the Big Ten. That's going to be a nice pitcher's duel with Chris Olave on the other side, along with Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. C.J. Stroud versus Aiden O'Connell. I'm very excited about that. We'll see how they respond to the news of Sonny Styles, when they can talk about it. I guess they can't talk about it because, NCAA is stupid about recruiting. But we'll see how reporters talk about it, right? For those of y'all that follow Jeremy Birmingham, Berm, as many of y'all know on Letterman Row, he's got a really great interview with Sonny Styles that you should go check out. All right, that's it for me. Yes.